Hey everyone, it's Jenny. Welcome to another process video. So I'm just working on a layout here as part of the challenge at the Facebook group that Shell and I are running called Fun Kits. And so this is a challenge using a collection that you can either purchase or make your own stash if you your funds don't allow you to purchase anything. And the collection that we're working with for the month of March is the I Am collection from Simple Stories. So I will leave a link to that group below and you can have a look there if you want to check that out. So at the moment all I'm doing is making a border at the top, and I'd like a border at the bottom as well, but the border at the top seems a little bit heavy, the paper that I chose. I really like this black and white stripy, so I've left it for a minute and I'll come back to that. And I was going to mat my photo on some of this beautiful gold glitter spotty paper, but then I didn't like that I was wasting so much of it. I really wanted to use that in lots of my layouts as little accent pieces. So I just made a strip instead, and that's going to go at the bottom, and I still wanted to have a strip at the top, so I had a couple of branding strips laying around and I just used one of those. So I've just cut a love heart out from a Project Life kit, and I've cut some wording there. I can't quite read what that says. You might be able to see it better. I'm just looking at a tiny screen, but I push and shove that piece of word around this whole layout, and at the very end I decide it's not working for me and it doesn't make it at all. So I've just fussy cut those flowers out from it was a piece of paper from October Afternoon, so that's quite an old piece, but it's very similar flowers that are in the I Am collection, so it's almost a carbon copy of a flower. And I'm just trying to work out how I want to embellish this this page. I love to do strips across, not quite in the middle, so I love to do strips across the page and fill the bottom third of the page up and have the embellishment stretching over the length of the page. So that's all I'm doing now. So I've got the piece of paper stretching over the length of the page with this writing on it, and I think that was a Studio Calico print. Maybe I could have that one wrong. I think it's a Studio Calico, and I like that it adds a little bit of difference. I like that it adds a little bit of black and white pops. So with these layouts I want to use some black and white in them, and yeah, just bring the contrast colour in. So I didn't have a piece, because this is a scrap, so I didn't have a piece that went right across the 12 by 12, but you know, we all know the little trick of just cutting the piece in half and adding a piece of paper to the top, and Bob's your uncle, as we would say here, and that, you know, works well. You can't tell that, you know, it's missing out of the middle. So I've just used my ruler there, and I have straightened everything up as best as I can, and here I am fiddling with that little piece. So I'm, you know, cutting an end to it, making it, you know, a little flag or something, and it sits there for a while and I still don't do it, still don't use it on the layout. So here I am battling with this double-sided tape again. I'll be glad when this roll has finished, and I would never purchase that roll again because it is a pain to get that red piece of backing off. So it's horrible. I don't know if it's just gone past its shelf life or what it is, but it doesn't want to play for me. So I'm just trying to work out these little clusters, and that little My Story tag is from a Maggie Holmes collection, as well as that little black tag there with the love heart that I try to work in. That doesn't make it onto the layout, but it does make it onto another layout, so I do use it. And just cutting the piece from that Project Life card that I had cut the heart out that I didn't use, and I'm going to add that. And this little piece here is from another layout that I had made, and I had tried to use that the other day and that didn't work, and this one worked perfectly this time for this layout. So sometimes you can make your little embellishments and they don't always work, but you can work them into another layout at another time. So just committing to that and putting a little bit of wet glue down there and on the piece at the top. And I think I will fiddle with that little pink wording for a bit longer, or maybe not. Just committing to sticking this down. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's all come together. I like the grouping of the elements over there to the top right, and then having the balance of them going to the bottom left, so you've got that nice diagonal flow going from left to right. And committing to sticking that one down as well. And I've got bits and pieces here from all different collections, so some Maggie Holmes and some Dear Lizzie and some new We Are Memory Keepers, and bits and pieces from my stash, some little embellishments that I made. And yeah, so it's a good way to use up some things from your stash. That little shine piece, the acetate piece, is from a Heidi Swap pack, and I end up pulling some more Heidi Swap little bits and pieces out, and they all coordinate together, so they all work really well. So that's the fun thing of stash diving, is taking your inspiration from certain colours or certain collections, seeing what you've got in your stash and making pretty layouts. So someone else has done the hard work of deciding the colour combo, and so I know that the colours are all going to work together, and so then it's just a matter of placing them on the page in a manner that I think is pleasing to my eye, and you know, I'm right. So just adding those little bits and pieces. So I've got the acetate diamond there that I want to add, and I've got a little ticket that I'm trying to work up the top, but that's not going to work, so I just retire that. And having a bit of a look on my plate at what else I've got, and now here I am in the little homemade embellishment container, and I've got some little bits and pieces that I'm going to add. So here I'm just putting my acetate pieces through the Xyron little labeler, and the shine was a bit too big for it, but I squished it in and you can't tell, so it bent a little bit, but it flattened back out again, so no loss there. And so that was a great tip, that one from Jen Scow, and you can't see the stickiness behind the vellum pieces, and it holds them really well, so no wet glue showing from behind. And yeah, and that just holds really well. So that was an awesome tip, because that Xyron machine sat in my possession for like, you know, 8 or 9 years, and I have never used it, so now I'm using it again, which is good. So I've stuck that little homemade flower down there, and I'm working on this little piece again, cutting it down, trimming it down, making it thinner, and in the end I'm like, I just don't like it there, so I take it off and I will use it for something else. And I was going to pop that little pop of yellow up the top, and I was going to put a pop of yellow down the bottom, but I actually forgot to do the pop of yellow down the bottom, and I even forgot to stick that little piece of yellow in at the top. So I've realized whilst I'm watching this that I didn't actually stick that one down, so I'll have to go back and do that. So I found this little H that was in the Maggie Holmes collection, and my daughter's name is Johanna, but we call her Han. So to us, when she was little, she was Hanny, and now that she's older, she's Han. And so I thought that I would just place that little H there and back it on some black paper and make it really pop. So, and you would have seen this photo before. I don't mind scrapbooking the same photo over and over and over again. If it's a photo that I love, has good memories, I couldn't care less about scrapbooking it lots. So I figure when the kids leave home, you know, I still get to keep one, Johanna can keep one, and if I make a third one, Isaac can have one if he wants, so it doesn't really matter. So my suggestion to you would be, if you love a photo, scrap it as many times as you like, because your styles change, and yeah, it will look different every time anyway. So there you go, black ink, so just about finished, and I will show you some close-ups there. And thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye!